Because you told me there are ways to help the water to be able to enter into our bodies, and so that it's more simple
Yes,
about
yes,
putting it in the freezer and so on.
yes, absolutely. See, water is a very enigmatic molecule. It has a lot of functions that we still have no idea about. And so, and water, it is very interesting to me to know that the water we drink uh, is not doing a lot of functions inside the body. What really does function is water that the body produces as part of making and converting energy. And a byproduct of this is pure water, that is H2O. Whereas water in nature is mostly H2O, but it's also D2O or deuterium oxide. So uh, the body cannot use what has deuterium very much for its function, though it has areas where deuterium is very important. But generally, making proteins and in general functions, deuterium is not used. So the body uses water that it produces by itself. So, talking about water, it is very, very important. Water is also a material that holds memory, holds information. Um, Moreover, water is also a lubricant for our body, so much so that there is water in its fourth phase that sort of it becomes a thin layer between the blood vessels and the blood so that the blood can flow through the blood vessels with the least resistance. And when this is compromised, that can lead to high blood pressure and other problems.
Because you told me there are ways to help the water to be able to enter into our bodies, and so that it's more simple
Yes,
about
yes,
putting it in the freezer and so on.
yes. See, one of the best ways is to use water from the poles or water from the northernmost latitudes that is naturally lower in deuterium compared to water from the equatorial zones. So, if you are in nature in the northern latitudes, make sure we drink local water so that the water is much better in deuterium content so that it's harmless for the body. Whereas if you're buying water from France or from other places with fancy names, we are in effect buying water that is of low quality, even though it has a better name and a greater brand recognition. Of course, there's also ways by which we can make our own water deep inside the body. And when we are metabolizing carbohydrates, the body can make water. Let's say that 1 cup of carbohydrates can generate about a cup of pure water that the body can use. Likewise, when we are using fat, about a cup of fat can result in 1.5 cup of high quality water with no deuterium that the body can use to make proteins and other things.
So you told me one way, if you have some illnesses, is that you can put the water in the freezer.
Yes, yes, yes. It is a simple way of making better quality, better tasting water. You take some basic water, whatever you get, whatever you can find, and then put it in the freezer in a container. And as it is ice, when there is a thin layer of ice formed over the surface, then you could take out the container and remove the ice, and then you put back the the water container with the water back into the freezer, and then um, let it ice for one more time, and then do the same procedure, remove the ice and possibly put it in another time, and the third time you remove the ice, and then you can pour the remaining water into a container, and when you taste the water, it will be much softer, tastier than what went in. So it is a simple but important and interesting way of making better quality water. This process will ensure that water is devoid of some deuterium. It doesn't take a lot of deuterium away, but taking away some deuterium is better than taking away no deuterium. So that is a good process. But if you really into this low deuterium water, then you could use a low pressure distillation equipment to to distill water at low pressure, so that the resultant distilled water is naturally lower in deuterium. But if you use that if you put that water into the freezer and do the same process as I mentioned earlier, like de-ice it 2 or 3 times, then the water will be of reasonably decent quality in uh, deuterium content, and it will be really healthy for our body to use.
Then if you've distillated it, maybe you need to readjust with some minerals and salts or
Yes,
something.
yes. Ideally, if you are distilling it, any water, then know that we will be losing uh, uh, important minerals in that distilled water. But this is easily solved. You only need to add a pinch of salt into the water to give back its original minerals. And if you are using good quality Celtic salt or Himalayan salt or good quality any ocean salt, then the quality of the water will be really good. As much as possible, do not use the table salt that's available. Um, Nothing wrong with it, but table salt is generally just sodium and chlorine. So there is sodium chloride, nothing more than that. Whereas the ocean salt and the Himalayan salt uh, will have around 75 to 76 or even more different types of minerals in varying concentrations that the body requires, yeah, for its daily living.
Okay, I'm very happy with everything you have been telling us today, and very grateful for this talk today.
Thank you very much.